Dishonored is a very underrated game and one of my all-time favorites. Despite playing as an assassin in Dishonored, killing as few people as you can is not only viable, but even somewhat encouraged in how you get the good ending. It's entirely possible to beat the game without killing a single person. That's not what I'm doing today. I'm a frog, and for this video, I decided to do the exact opposite and be a complete psychopath who wreaks havoc and murders absolutely everyone I can. Oh, frog, thank you for saving me. I've never played this way before, so for once, I wanted to embrace the chaos. Let's hop in. Our journey begins with us as Corvo, the Empress's bodyguard, as we return home from a voyage to other lands trying to get help with the rat plague. Why don't we just use antibiotics? Are we stupid? After arriving, we get hugged by the Empress's daughter, Emily, who's definitely not her and Corvo's illegitimate child.
But probably yes.
She asked me to play hide and seek with her, but like a true psychopath, I said no. Then I met the Empress and gave her a letter from the other cities responding to our request for aid by telling us to go fly a kite. But before we have time to worry too much about this, weird assassins who can teleport around show up, who I have to fend off with my sword and pistol. Thankfully, I successfully fought them off and nothing else eventful happened. Roll credits. Just kidding, the Empress is killed, Emily is captured, and to top it all off, one of the strangers from Dark City says we must have killed the Empress and we get taken to jail and become Dishonored. We cut to 6 months later with Corvo being tortured into giving a confession despite these dudes telling us directly that they know he didn't actually do it because they conspired to have the Empress killed. The day before Corvo's execution, a guard drops a piece of bread off and under it is a note and a key to unlock our cell, and the game truly begins with me now needing to break out of prison. With no regard for human life, I started stabbing people in the neck with my new sword as assassins do. I pickpocketed the key I needed off this guard and could have just let him be, but why would I do that? After grabbing an explosive out of a safe, I completely ignored the tutorial for peeking and continued slaughtering the guards, now with even less of a concern for discretion. I would want to be smart and stay stealthy at later points in the game, but this is basically just a tutorial space, so I didn't really care. Even besides how easily I could kill them, the guards here were just really bad at their jobs. Like, I blow open the door to leave and head to the sewer, then I turn around and look at the guards. They're clueless. Inside the sewer, I found another note before climbing up and watching guards get swarmed by rats. This is like when a woman posts anything on Reddit. I found this touching scene of a couple who died in each other's arms while bleeding out of their eyes. At one point, I found a weapon stash planted by the people who plotted to bust me out of prison. It comes with a new sword and a crossbow for silent ranged kills. So for the next group of guards that I came across, I used the crossbow. I kept going through the sewer until I met Samuel the Boatman, and that was the first level done. I killed 16 people in total. Rookie numbers, wait until you see how high that gets going forward. Samuel takes us to the Hound Pits pub in an abandoned part of the city where I met Admiral Havelock and Trevor Pendleton, two men of tremendous character who will always have my back and never betray me halfway through the game. I then meet Piero, who's a certified genius, and he axes me to get him a new tank of whale oil from upstairs. Be careful? Of course. Here you go. Piero finishes up Corvo's mask, which means he now looks cool enough to be a real assassin. Then he lets me buy upgrades and ammo from him. It's bedtime, but Corvo took one too many Benadryls and wakes up in a bad trip before being greeted by the Hat Man minus a hat, who gives Corvo a hand tattoo that gives him magical powers, like the ability to teleport, just like the assassins at the start. Oh my. So yeah, from this point on, I get powers through this emo guy named the Outsider, named after the A Perfect Circle song, and using this heart in my left hand, I'll be told where to find runes, which upon collecting allow me to upgrade and unlock new powers. This is one of the best parts of the sandbox. Corvo wakes up and still has the tattoo on his hand, so he knows it wasn't just a dream, and I decided to introduce myself to everyone else in the pub by running through their rooms and grabbing everything valuable. Havelock tells me that their goal is to find Emily and restore her to the throne, which Corvo is down with, of course, and Havelock sends us to rescue an ally named Martin and assassinate High Overseer Campbell, the bald guy in red. On my way to the boat, I was greeted by the office hot Callista, who tells me her uncle Geoff, who was on the boat with us at the start of the game, is having a meeting with Campbell tonight, suspects Campbell wants to kill him, and asks me to protect him and make sure he leaves alive. I'll try my best. Samuel took me to the distillery district, and this is where level 2 truly began. I killed one guard, then threw him in the river, then found a completely innocent woman. I wanted to keep a low profile, but instead of killing her, I simply knocked her unconscious. Then I threw her down to the rocks below. I went into this sweet elderly woman's house who seemed like a normal lady besides having a shrine to the devil in her back room. While exploring the back alleys, I killed a couple gang members who were holding this guy Griff hostage. I didn't kill Griff though, since you can buy things from him, making him actually useful. As previously shown, whale oil tanks are good for blowing people up, but this did alert the other guards in the area. Thankfully, I was able to kill them all just with my pistol. Hey bro, can you lend me a hand? I snuck into Dr. Galvani's house where a maid and a guard were talking about what life would be like after they got married. Not on my watch. From what I can gather, Dr. Galvani is a crazy weirdo scientist who can't be all that smart because he left the combination of his safe written on a chalkboard where someone like myself could see it. After stealing the guts from a plague rat, pinning a couple more heads to the wall, and feeding the maid to the horde, I now visited the Backstreet Boys to poison their distillery with the plague rat guts, infecting anyone who drinks their bootleg health elixir. I'm an hour into the game and I've already done irreparable amounts of damage to the city. Once again, now focused on my primary objective objective, I fought my way through more gang members and guards until I made it to the Overseer's office location. My first kill of the area was talking to a prisoner about chemically peeling his skin off, so I didn't feel that bad about killing him. I would have killed the prisoner too, but that was Martin, who Havelock sent us to rescue. Then I methodically made my way through the next part, stealthily killing every enemy. Just kidding, after my very first kill I was spotted and had to fight 3 more guards at once. This did give me the opportunity to light someone on fire though. Inside the Overseer's office there were a lot of guards, so here I did want to be stealthy and take each out without being detected, which with my new power Dark Vision and Blink wasn't very hard to do, except when I accidentally pulled my pistol out and fired a shot. That got their attention. I managed to sedate them with sleep darts, but simply knocking them unconscious wasn't good enough. It was time for Campbell and the Jeff Meisters meeting, but I broke into the room right before and spilled their wine glasses. This made Campbell take Jeff Boyardee down to a secret lair where, while looking at Ark, Campbell pulled out his sword and was going to stab the captain, so I jumped in and choked Campbell out, rendering him unconscious, and saving the captain's life as Callista had requested. Unfortunately, I was going to have to deliver the news to Callista that her uncle had been captured by Campbell's men and shot. I brought the unconscious Campbell up to the torture chamber to give him the heretic's brand, which is the pacifist way of dealing with them. It doesn't kill him, but it's the mark of a heretic, leading to him being shunned by society and unable to live a normal life or any kind of a life at all. After branding him, completing the objective and sparing his life, I killed him anyway. Yes, Samuel, I had a very productive meeting, thanks. According to the end screen, I had 87 dead people worth of production. Back at the pub, Callista was upset about her uncle being killed despite me trying everything I could to save him. I came across Piero striking out with her as well. Then there were a couple sick people in the sewer who needed someone to take care of them. With that, Havelock and Martin sent me off to my next mission to rescue Emily and assassinate the Pendletons. Strangely, this mission starts in the exact same area as the last one, except now during the day and with an increased guard presence. Part of why I think they did this, and one really neat thing about Dishonored, is that my actions affect the city, so killing lots of people like I'm doing causes there to be more rats, weepers, which are plague-infected zombie-like people, and it changes the direction of the story. So coming back to this area gives a first-hand example that my actions really do have consequences. Anyway, I started indiscriminately killing more people in the district, went back to the distillery to talk to the leader of the Bottle Street gang who has a stupid mustache, and using my new power Bend Time, I was able to kill 3 weepers before they could do anything. Slackjaw, the gang leader, sent me back to Dr. Galvani's house, which was restocked on guards who seemingly had no idea about the slaughter that occurred here the night before, which made it easy to commit even more. After returning to Slackjaw for my payment, I continued with the main objective. I killed quite a few guards, but it's fine because, as they say, AGAB, all guards are biodegradable. I cut through an abandoned hotel, and when I came out the other side, I had arrived at the Golden Cat, a brothel where young Lady Emily was secretly being held. I'd need to be careful because the Golden Cat itself and areas surrounding it was full of guards, patrons, and harlots as far as the eye could see. Like this girl who I knocked unconscious. For some reason, she smelled like people had been spraying her with bleach, so I threw her in the water to wash off, but unfortunately she was eaten by an evil fish. After killing all the guards in the courtyard, I moved to the building itself where I continued killing everything I saw. While time was spent, I killed a guard as well as a lady who runs the Golden Cat. That one I don't feel too bad about. And then I found Emily, who was happy to see me and didn't have any concerns about me being completely drenched in blood, sweat, and mascara. While she ran off to find Samuel, I continued going through the Golden Cat with no mercy whatsoever, killing everything in sight and hiding the bodies by throwing them in the water outside. Alright, you two can live, whatever. I tortured this art dealer for the combination to a safe in his house, stabbed the first of my 2 targets in the face, then gassed my second target. What is bro doing? Mission accomplished. I freed Emily, taken out my targets, and solved the Golden Cat's human trafficking problem by killing everyone being trafficked. After robbing the art dealer's safe, I returned to Samuel and Emily, and that was yet another mission down. This time with only 86 people killed, though. I'm regressing. When we got back to the Hound Pits pub, I walked with Emily in front of Callista to show her I'm good with children, loaded up on supplies with Piero, then got briefed on my next mission, to kidnap Sokolov, a genius painter, scientist, and engineer. So he's basically this game's version of Leonardo DiCaprio. Sokolov's house is located on the Caldwin Bridge, where Sam drops me off, and my quest began with me accidentally alerting the guards right away and having to take on multiple men at once. At this point, it felt like I was just more powerful than anything the game could throw at me. With my powers, I could stay hidden pretty easily as long as I didn't play like an idiot, and even when I did alert the enemies, I had enough in my arsenal to take them out. A bit later on, I OJ'd a rich guy outside of his mansion, and once inside, got the combination to his safe by looking at the numbers on 3 different paintings. For some reason, people keep putting their safe combinations where others can find them instead of just making them something random. It's almost like this is a video game. While sitting in a building watching a guard outpost planning my next move, I got zapped by an arc pylon alerting every single guard to my presence. This time, instead of taking them all head on, I scouted for other ways to get around and ambush them, which led me back here where I was able to get to the arc pylon terminal and rewire it to digital bath the guards instead of me. Then it was back to killing guards the old-fashioned way. I parkoured my way across the bridge, taking out more guards as I went, which did get a bit difficult difficult. Not because I was close to dying, but because there's only so many brutal kills I can commit before getting demonetized. I found this guy in a cell who said he was a pearl scavenger, and if I freed him, he would show me a stash. So I did, then escorted him, but once we got to where the stash was supposed to be, he double-crossed me even though I trusted him, leading me to never trust another human being again.
Hey, Frog. Are we still meeting later?
You're not gonna show up anyway. I continued massacring guards, killed a rat swarm to rescue this lady, and then shot her in the face anyway. I came across more guards and made one glitch into a wall, then freed their prisoners. They started to run for some reason, which I assumed to be that they wanted to play death tag. But just like that, I had made it to Discount Da Vinci's house. This level is strangely easy. Like, right away, I was already outside of his office and could just grab him. But just to be safe, I went back through his house and took care of the guards and the unarmed maids. I confronted the wolf man in his office, and unfortunately, I had no choice this time but to simply knock him unconscious and then carry his body to the boat, ending yet another level. Really short one. I only killed 54 people. Pathetic.
Corvo, wake up.
I've broken out of prison and killed hundreds of people in just 2 days. Let me sleep, kid. Holy fun. On my way to meet Havelock, I found Piero spying on Callista taking a bath. Homie is at down bad level 1000. Hey, Callista, I just wanted to let you know that I respect women. After bribing Sokolov with the Glenfiddich, he gave me the name of the Lord Regent's mistress. The Lord Regent is this guy, if you didn't know. And her family happens to be throwing a party tonight where every guest is required to wear a mask. This game predicted COVID, but that also means that I would fit right in. So Sam Roberts drove me outside of the Boyle estate house where I had to dodge guards and guys with long legs called tall boys. I had no clue how to take them out, and after running into one, I got absolutely wrecked. But then after respawning, I realized getting to the party was just as easy as teleporting over a gate, and then I just needed to blend in. Hello, fellow billionaires. How about that, Satan? Before going into the party, I challenged this guy to a duel on behalf of Pendleton at the pub. And after Alexander Hamiltoning him, I sent the guards who were overseeing the duel to meet Jimmy Carter. Once inside the Eyes Wide Shut party, I made boring conversation with guests and asked around about my target. It's one of the 3 Boyle sisters, but no one knows which is which behind their masks. And there's a lot of mystery and detective work required to figure out which sister is the correct one. Just kidding, I gave this bug lady a drink and she told me all 3 of their names and how they were dressed. So my target was Waverly, the one in white. Before handling her and leaving though, I wanted to go upstairs and raid all their private rooms. So I assassinated the guard covering the stairs and hid him in the cellar. Then a maid started walking that way, so I killed her too before she found him. But then a second maid came and I was spotted killing her by another maid who ran to get help, and I was found out by the guards. So I had to start killing them too. But then while I was killing the guards, I was like, what's stopping all the guests from running and getting more guards for help? So I started killing the guests too. I only needed to kill the one chick, but maybe the intel I got from the drunk lady was wrong. There was only one way to be certain I got the right sister. I was just being logical.
I hope you enjoyed your evening, sir.
Yeah, it was alright, I guess. I killed 46 people in total. At this point, I'd been playing for a few hours. So I decided to take a break, chill on my couch, and play KOTOR on my new Red Magic 10 Pro, this video's sponsor. I'm sure you've heard of gaming PCs. Well, the Red Magic 10 Pro is a gaming smartphone optimized for playing games, which if you're watching this video, I think I can safely assume you do. It has a really nice looking display, its refresh rate can go all the way up to 144 Hz, and it has the battery life to support playing at that refresh rate. Its battery is 7,050 hold up. Milliamp per hour. It's really good, that's what I can tell you. At full battery, it lasts twice as long as the iPhone 16. Along with those specs, another cool feature is its cooling system. Without going full science, Frog, let me just tell you, Red Magic's got some high-tech liquid metal to keep the phone from overheating while you're gaming away. So you won't have to worry about the Red Magic 10 Pro turning into a hot potato when you've been playing too long. It's also just a really nice looking phone. Personally, I have a white Red Magic 10 Pro, but it also comes in black. The first thing I noticed holding it is that it's completely flat on the back. There's not even a bump for the camera, but don't think that they skimped out on the camera. There's 2 high quality cameras on the back letting you take clear, sharp images in portrait mode or landscape even in low light conditions. I also really appreciate that the Red Magic 10 Pro has an actual headphone jack for boomers like myself who still use and prefer wired earbuds. I have no idea why that ever stopped being a thing. They're much more affordable than other phones out there. A 256GB Red Magic 10 Pro only costs $650 USD. So if you're in the market for a new phone, use the link in my description or the pinned comment and check out the Red Magic 10 Pro for yourself. Thank you, Red Magic, for sponsoring this video. When I got back to the pub, Martin and Havelock sent me off for my final mission to kill the Lord Regent at Dunwall Tower, where the game started. It's come full circle. Bravo, Vince. After climbing up the water lock, I acquainted myself with the local guards, and by that I mean I murdered them. At this point, powers-wise, it was just unfair. Prior to coming here, I upgraded my bin time power, making it so that it freezes time entirely rather than just slow it down. I killed everything outside, then moved into the tower where I systematically killed everything everyone inside too. For some reason, I still felt like I needed to hide bodies to keep from being discovered, even though I probably could have just gone in guns blazing. Or so I thought, because at one point I went down to the torturer's chamber and got a bit too cocky and tried to take him head on with my sword, only to learn that he's an absolute unit. Thankfully, absolute units still have a weakness: pistol shots to the face. I ascended to the top of the tower where I slit a few more throats, figured out how to kill tall boys, and killed every guard directly defending the Lord Regent. After I disabled the wall of light gate protecting his room, instead of standing with his back against a wall with a gun in each hand, he walked out where I could easily surprise him and rip Bozo. All the other guards were taken care of, so I had a leisurely stroll back to Samuel, and there we go, Lord Regent dead. There's nothing left to do. We did it, Patrick. We saved the city. We made it back to the Hound Pits pub where we all drank in celebration. Unfortunately, when Corvo made it up to his room, he had a similar reaction to me after I tried taking 25 grams of creatine at once. It turns out Havelock, Martin, and Pendleton poisoned Corvo not only so that they could claim they rescued Emily, but also that they killed the Empress's assassin. I'm not sure what I could have done in this playthrough to deserve such a fate, but thankfully Samuel's who made the poison, and he only gave me half to hopefully keep me from dying. Corvo is sent off in a boat through the flooded district and gets found by the assassins who killed the Empress, led by Michael Madsen. It is so over. I woke up in a hole, still with my mask but nothing else, and broke out by throwing bricks at the ceiling. I found a sword and it was showtime because even professional assassins have no defense for me slitting their throats. I had two objectives: number one, to find my old gear, and number two, to kill Mr. Blonde. I went to my stuff first, and there wasn't much in the way of obstacles. I saw some weepers and spitting plants, had to do some parkouring, but there were only 3 assassins actually guarding where my things were left. So just like that, I had my crossbow and was fully loaded once again. We are so back. I carried on to Dowd's lair, where the assassins were definitely stronger opponents than in previous levels. I had to watch rooftops, and whenever alerted, they'd blink around and use powers just like I do. I walked in on these guys doing assassin lessons before killing both, and then I came up on Dowd. I tried using my bend time power, which was effective for the other assassins except Dowd, who told me nice try little bro and attacked me anyway. But no matter, I loaded him up with crossbow bolts like a pincushion. Then after he teleported away and gave me a speech about how I should let him live and he felt guilty for killing the Empress, blah blah blah, I threw a grenade at his feet and said bone apple tea. Next up was getting back to the Hound Pits pub. On my way there, I entered into a staring contest with this guy who then kicked me, so I hit him with my gat. I took out a couple tall boys, then made it into the sewer. In the sewer, I came across Granny Rags and Slackjaw in an interesting situation, so I tried putting her down only for her to turn into an army of rats. She'd respawn, then I'd kill her again, and this happened a few times because I legitimately just forgot how you're supposed to take her out. Until Slackjaw suggested I burn her cameo to defeat her. I don't even know what that is, but I listened to him and put it in the furnace and ripped Grandma. I then killed Slackjaw and was gonna throw his corpse in the furnace too, but I had completely forgotten about my new ability that makes corpses disintegrate so I don't have to hide them. Unfortunate. I killed some more weepers in the sewer, then made it to the exit into the Hound Pits pub, where Cecilia filled me in and told me that Havelock went insane and pretty much all the rest of the loyalists were executed, but she managed to hide. I went ahead and took care of that problem. The pub was housed by soldiers now, but they weren't an issue, especially after spending the last hour of gameplay battling teleporting assassins and an evil witch. Piero and Sokolov were still alive and hiding in the workshop talking about nerd stuff. I went into Emily's tower to light a flare and signal Samuel, and off we went to a lighthouse in the real final level. On the boat ride, Samuel told me about how Havelock, Martin, and Pendleton were bad men, but I'm the worst of them all. I was so insulted by his completely incorrect suggestion that I'm a bad person that I killed him. The lighthouse has a ton of enemies. Like, this really feels like final level opposition. Once I got in, I found Martin and Pendleton yelling at each other because apparently they had a split and everyone's fighting now, blah blah blah. I decided to stop time and quickly kill Martin and the soldiers directly with him. Easy enough, right? Well, I made enough of a racket that more guards started coming, and then more guards, and more guards, and more guards. I was in this same area fighting for multiple minutes, but eventually the clown car ran out and I moved up to kill Pendleton, who had no reaction to me standing directly in front of him. I hacked an arc pylon, killing most of the rest of the guards, grenaded the last one as he got eaten by rats, and took an elevator to the top of the lighthouse, where I once again showcased how overpowered bend time can be. At the very top, I found Havelock holding Emily near the edge, so I stabbed him in the wrist and shot him with his own gun, rescuing the cute and wholesome Emily and restoring peace and justice to the city.
The others are all dead, aren't they? That's alright, because I was going to have them killed anyway. I am going to be Empress.
Oh. If you like this video, click the one on screen to see another one. Thanks to my patrons as always for supporting the channel. Something Whiskey and Cigars.